Hi everyone, Cheryl here. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to talk a little bit today about energy. I started my healing practice in the early 80s, and I had an experience very early on in my practice about energy. I was doing some polarity therapy work on a client, and it was summertime, and she had shorts on, and she was on my table, and we were doing some energy points. And what happened while I was working on her is this mark appeared on her thigh. It wasn't just a regular mark. It looked kind of like a birthmark, and it was slightly raised. And as I was working on the pressure points, it became very evident that this mark, which was sort of the size of an amoeba, or the shape of an amoeba, and it was about 3 to 4 inches long and maybe 2 inches wide. And this shape was moving back and forth on her thigh as I was doing the energy work on her. It was a little bit surprising. Didn't know exactly what was happening at the time. And of course, I called my husband in to have a look at it. We were discussing it, we were talking about it, wondering what it was. And, we couldn't seem to make it go away at the moment. I continued, my session with her and did some balancing work for her energy, and it still continued to be there. Now, that evening, or that night actually, information was given from Spirit that this was a negative energy that was trapped in her energy field. And in order to release this negative energy, we had to create some equipment to facilitate this. So my husband built this equipment, and I then proceeded to be more aware of negative energy. Now, we were told that this negative energy that was trapped in the energy field was not able to filter out normally and naturally. And apparently, we have a natural filtration system that is slightly above our physical body. There's a grid, and there are natural portals where this negative energy gets filtered out and then escapes and releases, kind of like an overload valve, I guess. And it goes out these portals, and we filter it out naturally and normally. So when the negative energy is too backlogged or accumulated to a point where our natural filtration system no longer can remove it in a normal manner, it becomes trapped. And apparently this is what was showing up on my client's leg, was this trapped negative energy that was unable to release, and it was moving back and forth in an attempt to release from her physical body. So we were also given the information from Spirit that this energy, when it's trapped like that, can not only have a physical visual appearance, but it can actually start to have an influence and impact on our physical health. So instead of it just being on the surface skin the way it was showing and appearing to us, which I think was intentional so that we could actually become aware of this and to do something about it, it can actually impact the organs and the internal body when this negative energy is accumulating and isn't being released in a normal manner. And so if we are inundated with a lot of stressful events in our life, or overwhelmed with too many things on our plate, or if we have a lot of internal negative, self-talk, or there is stress from actual physical ailments, this can also impact this filtration system. So energy is a very real thing. It's not just something that we imagine or that's in our head. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, you've got to be positive. You can't think negative. You can't, you know, let negative things and thoughts get the best of you. It goes beyond that. It's actually, you know, a very real thing that can impact the body. It can impact the mind, it can impact the body, it can impact the organs, our cells and our tissues. And so it's something that is very important to release the negative energy in some positive way. Now, you know, this natural filtration system can function fine if we're not overloaded. But in today's world, it's so easy to become overloaded with stress if we are not taking steps in order to alleviate some of the overload. And also, you know, there's lots of different ways that you can do that to assist it. You can exercise, you can, you know, have some kind of support groups to support your emotional state. You can meditate, you can, you know, be out in nature, do some earthing, walking on the earth barefoot. There's many things that you can do naturally for yourself, but sometimes people still will have this overwhelm and it will impact their energetic field, their filtration system, and then it will start to impact their health. And so I still offer this treatment. I call it a negative energy release. I still have the equipment that my husband built in the 80s, and I still am able to assist and facilitate the release of this negative energy when it gets too much for your body or your mind to alleviate. And so it can be a very helpful thing. So I just wanted to talk about that today because so many people think that negative thoughts or overwhelm is something that is sort of a fluid, nebulous thing that just floats around and isn't real, it isn't tangible, it doesn't have a real impact, or it's something that they can brush off and it won't have an effect on their physical body. But nothing could be further from the truth. You know, negative energy can happen from our environment, can happen from too much stressful activity, stressful interactions. It can happen from internal negative self-talk, and it can happen from, you know, the media, you know, inundating us with too much information, getting overwhelmed with too many things on our plate. And it's so easy to do in this day and age is to be overwhelmed. So I'm just offering this service and reminding you the importance to do what you can in order to alleviate, you know, stress overload. So think about things like meditating, walking barefoot on the earth, even going for a massage or having, you know, support groups or good friends that you can vent to, finding ways to alleviate this buildup of stress overload so that the filtration system doesn't get clogged, because it can become clogged and then it has a physical impact on your body. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you today. I hope that you're having an awesome summer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and soon to have spring arriving in the south. So have a fabulous day.